Hello everyone, welcome to Law Kanya. In this video, I will be discussing about the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019. So, it is an act of the Parliament enacted with the main purpose of safeguarding the rights of transgender people, their welfare and other matters related to them. This act was introduced in the Lok Sabha on 19th July 2019 by the Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, Mr. Thaawarch and Gehlot. The Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act was enacted after analyzing all the drawbacks and the reason for the lapse of the Transgender Persons Bill 2018 and the Transgender Persons Bill 2016. The bill was passed by the Lok Sabha on 5th August 2019 and by the Rajya Sabha on 26 November 2019. The President gave his assent on 5th December and then the Act was published in the official Gazette of India. Since January 10, 2020, this Act has been in effect. So, what is the definition of a transgender person according to this Act? According to this Act, a transgender person is someone whose gender does not match with the gender of persons assigned at birth. Trans men and trans women, persons with intersex variation, genderqueers, and persons with socio-cultural identities such as Kinnar and Hijras are included in this. Terminology intersex variations are defined to refer that persons who at birth shows the variation in his or her primary sexual characteristics, external genitalia, chromosomes or hormones from the normative standard of the male or female body. Next question that arises is on what grounds a transgender person can't be discriminated from others. As per this Act, no person or establishment shall discriminate against a transgender person, including denial of service or unfair treatment in relation to education, employment or occupation, healthcare, and other things. The third question which arises is, can a transgender person apply for a certificate of identity? The answer is yes. A transgender person can apply for the certificate of identity by writing an application to the district magistrate for issuing the certificate of identity as a transgender person in any form and manner accompanied by the required documents as may be prescribed. In the case of a minor child, the application may be made by a parent or guardian of such child. The next question that arises is whether a transgender person undergo a surgery to change either as male or female can be done. So the answer is if a transgender person undergoes surgery to change gender either as a male or a female, such person has to make an application besides a certificate issued by the medical superintendent or the chief medical officer of the medical institution in which that person has undergone surgery. The application along with the certificate issued by is presented to the district magistrate for a revised certificate. Then on being satisfied with the receipt of the application and with the certificate issued by the medical superintendent or the chief medical officer, the district magistrate may issue a certificate indicating the change in gender. The person to whom the revised certificate has been issued shall be entitled to change the first name in the birth certificate and all other official documents relating to identity of such person according to the gender issued in the revised certificate. So the answer is yes, a transgender person can undergo a surgery to change its gender. Next question is, what are the welfare measures taken by the government for transgender persons? Under this Act, the government takes measure to ensure the full inclusion and participation of transgender persons in society, their protection of rights and interests, facilitate their access to welfare schemes, and steps to rescue, protect, and provide rehabilitation centers for transgender persons. Also, to encourage and promote methods for vocational training and self-employment, creating schemes that promote their participation in cultural activities. Another question which comes to mind is what are the rights of residents provided to these transgender persons under the Act. This Act says that no child should be separated from the parents or close family on the ground of being a transgender, exception being an order from a competent court which is interest of a child orders such thing. Every transgender person shall have a right to reside in the house with the parents of immediate family, also to enjoy and use all the facilities of the household in a non-discriminatory manner. In the case where any parent or member of his immediate family is unable to take care of a transgender person, the person is to be placed in a rehabilitation center on the orders given by the competent court. Next is, can a transgender person be discriminated at workplace or in acquiring employment? The simple answer is no. Neither government nor any private employment establishment can discriminate against a transgender person in employment matters, which includes recruitment as well as promotion. Every establishment is ought to designate a person to be a complaint officer to deal with the complaints in relation to this act. The next question is, what are the special measures taken by the government in the field of education and healthcare for transgender persons under this Act? First, we look at the educational point of view under which the educational institutions recognized by the appropriate government shall provide inclusive education, sports and recreational facilities for transgender persons without discriminating them on the basis of their gender. The next is the healthcare sector. It is to be noted that the government should ensure to provide adequate steps to provide health facilities to transgender persons, including separate HIV surveillance center and other surgery processes. The government on a regular basis should review the medical curriculum to address the health issues of transgender persons and provide comprehensive medical insurance scheme for them. Now, our term NCT, what is it? NCT stands for National Council for Transgender Person. It was set up with the purpose to advise the central government on policies and legislations related to the transgender person. The NCT consists of representatives from ministers such as Social Justice and Empowerment, Health, Minority Affairs, Niti Aayog, National Human Rights Commission and National Commission for Women's, state governments, nominated members from the transgender community, and experts from non-governmental organizations. Now, what are the functions of NCT? NCT performs the following functions. First is to advise the central government about the formulation of policies, programs, legislations, and projects with respect to transgender persons. The second is to monitor and evaluate the impact formulated policies and programs designed for achieving equality and full participation of transgender persons. The third function is to review and coordinate the activities of all the departments of the government and non-governmental organizations dealing with the matters relating to transgender person. And lastly, to perform all other functions as prescribed by the central government. Now, under the Act, what are the offences and penalties recognized against the transgender person? The first is compelling transgender persons to indulge in forced or bonded labor, denial use of public places, removal from household and village, physical, sexual, verbal, emotional or economic abuse. Penalties for these offences vary between 6 months to 2 years and a fine. Now, the question is the Transgender Persons Protection of Right Act 2019 in derogation of any other law? To this, the Act says that the provision of this Act shall be in addition to and not in derogation of any other law for the time being in force. The next question is, does the legal proceeding lie against appropriate government, which results in anything done in good faith? No suit, neither any prosecution nor any legal proceeding lies against the person, any local authority or any officer of the government if the act is done with respect in good faith or with an intention to be in pursuance of the provision of this act and any rules made thereunder. The last question which arises are, what are the powers under this Act to remove difficulties from transgender persons? So this Act says that in case of any difficulty arising in giving effect to the provisions of this Act, the central government orders to publish in the official gazette to make provisions not inconsistent with the provisions of this Act, as appear it to be necessary or convenient for removing the difficulty. The condition being so, such order can be made after the expiry of the period of 2 years from the date of the commencement of fact, that is 10 January 2020. Each and every order made under this section must be laid before each house of the parliament. This was it for this video. Thank you for watching my video.